What is going on, you guys? Browns Gratification here. And today we're talking about a bunch of things that happened last night and today. Over here, you can see we have DeAndre Hopkins rumor, a Jessie Bates rumor, John Johnson has been released, and then at the end, that gentleman down there is Ben Bloom, who rounds out the Kevin Stefanski coaching staff. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And let's talk about it. First things up, Jessie Bates. Per Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns are expected to pursue Bates if he's not extended, franchised, or traded to somebody besides the Browns. In 2020, he was an All Pro. It is, on average, most likely going to be a $14 million a year deal for Jessie Bates, which is, I would figure a little bit more, but if that's the market, then and if you really want to make a push for this year, you have to go out and sign him. I just don't see it happening for a few reasons, and I'll state that at the end. He's a big impact safety who definitely fits a lot better with Grant Delpit than John Johnson does. Jessie Bates, from what I've seen, is more of a ball hawk kind of guy, and I'm sure if anybody from Cincinnati, any Cincinnati fans are watching, you guys could probably talk a lot more about this, but he looks more, or he plays more of a ball hawk than Grant Delpit, because Grant Delpit definitely excels in the box, and I think Jessie Bates is more of the the quote unquote free safety position where he's all 20 yards down, he's looking for the ball. So, and he's a big hitter too. Unfortunately, John Johnson did have a bunch of missed tackles. I think it was 17 or 21 missed tackles. Getting Jessie Bates would be nice. I just don't see it happening. In his career for the Bengals, 479 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 43 pass breakups, and 14 interceptions. Again, I think Grant Delpit had like 6 tackles for a loss in a season. So it just shows the difference of safeties that we would have, which I would love to get, but I just don't see it happening. Um, you know, if we do sign him, it's going to be a tricky situation because I don't know how they'll make it work with money wise. Because you can restructure all the contracts you want, but you know, down the line, 2, 3 years, you're going to end up like the Saints. And the Saints were last year, what was it, 80 or 90 million dollars under the like over the cap, or it was ridiculous, and they're still over now. But I definitely don't want to see a situation like that. But if the Browns pencil in 2023 as a year to go big or go home, can't really blame them, and hopefully it works out. Now, moving on to another big aspect of news, another aspect of this season rather that we just talked about. I don't know if that sentence made any sense, but um, John Johnson has been released by the Cleveland Browns. It was kind of expected that he was going to be released after the season. Him and Grant Delpit are just too similar of a player in terms of being box safeties, and in the situation you got to choose Grant Delpit. One, because he's younger. Two, he's cheaper. Grant Delpit, since we do cut him, we'll get a 9.75 million dollar free cap, and we incur like a $3.5 million dead cap. So it was expected that this was going to happen. And here's a quote by John Johnson: "I appreciate the Cleveland Browns for the opportunity," Johnson told Cleveland.com. "The city is truly one of a kind. I wish that I could have done more while here. However, I know that my best ball's ahead of me. I pray great things for my former teammates." So it's kind of sad to see him go, but it's not surprising. It's just how it is now. Now, moving on. Coaching staff has been finalized. Um, I'm not gonna attempt to say that first name. Ephraim Banda, who was a defensive coordinator for the Utah, or former defensive coordinator. He is now our safeties coach. And Bill Musgrave, who we did talk about earlier, is our senior offensive assistant. Ben Bloom, been with the Browns for 6 years now, is our now defensive line coach. That was, Chris Kiffin was the defensive line coach beforehand, but he moved on to somewhere else. I don't know. I forgot where. I think he moved to Texas, to the Texans. I don't know what position he is coaching there. But Ben Bloom takes his position. Callie Brownson is now a full-time assistant wide receivers coach. Last year she was part-time. Now she's full-time. Ashton Grant is our offensive assistant slash assistant for the quarterbacks. Riley Heklinski is our coordinator slash coaching logistics. Brandon Lynch is our cornerbacks coach, and Kevin Rogers is our senior assistant slash special projects. I don't know what those Riley and Kevin do, nor do I care, but they got promotion, so good for them. Um, what does kind of shock me is though they did not mention um, AVP's quarterback coach role, which kind of surprises me, but maybe they'll announce that later on. Now, finally, DeAndre Hopkins is rumored to have Cleveland as his number one destination. You know, him and Deshaun did speak. They met up a week ago or so. They were in the same vicinity, same area. Deshaun Watson said he would talk to him, and there it is. It came out that we're his number one destination. Now he doesn't have that no trade clause anymore because of the PED test that he tested positive for that made him miss the first 6 or 7 games of the season. And so that's taken away. Although I don't think the Cardinals are just going to trade him anywhere. I think they're going to show him a little bit more respect, and then you know they'll kind of work on it to where he wants to go. They might end up cutting him to save some money. I don't see the Browns trading for him just because we're kind of low on what we have. But now that I think about it, although they do want to release John Johnson, you could trade for him. Trade DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. It might be a whole situation, but it could be like something Cardinals pay a little bit more. You know what they do with Baker Mayfield to Carolina. We don't pay the full salary, but we'll pay 50% of it. That could work if you want to trade for him instead of having him get cut and then sign him to a new contract is what I would assume he'd want for sure. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this move? Do you want him on the team? I would like him. I just don't see it happening. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.